February 28th, 2026. Within hours of U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iran, a shortwave radio signal begins broadcasting twice daily in Persian. Random numbers, then a pause, then one word, Tavajo. Translated in English as attention. 5 days later, someone starts jamming it. No government has claimed responsibility for either. That same week, a retired Air Force Major General who once commanded Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, the facility long rumored to house recovered extraterrestrial materials from Roswell, walks out of his Albuquerque home and vanishes. No phone, no glasses, no wearable devices. The FBI is now involved. Investigative journalist Ross Coulthart is calling it a grave national security crisis. On Capitol Hill, former military and intelligence officials testified under oath that the United States is engaged in a secret, decades-long arm race involving recovered UAP technologies, and that a classified program called Immaculate Constellation holds thousands of high-resolution images and videos the public has never seen. And somewhere in the middle of an active war, a world leader keeps posting videos to prove he's alive, and nobody believes them. All of it happened in the last 10 days. Welcome back to Infinite Rabbit Hole. What's up, everyone? I'm Jeremy Socha, and you're listening to Infinite Rabbit Hole, your briefing on the unexplained. Tonight, I'm joined by my co-hosts Jake and CJ, and we've got a packed episode for you once again. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and leave us a rating and review wherever you get your podcast. It helps more people find the show. You can find us on infiniterabbithole.com, Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube. And if you're watching on YouTube right now, make sure you're subscribed to our channel. We're posting video versions of every episode so you can watch along as we break down the unexplained. Before we jump in, quick reminder, on Saturday, May 9th, I'll be at CapCon, the Cryptids, Anomalies, and Paranormal Convention in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, at the Radisson Hotel and Conference Center. I'll be on the UFO, UAP, and CE5 discussion panel alongside Ian DeGraff, Zach Screed, and Dustin Schuda with Jeff Finnup as our host. Use code RABBITHOLE at checkout for 10% off your tickets. Link is in our most recent social posts. Before we get into tonight's topics, Jake, how's things going, man?
Sorry, I muted myself. No, things are going well. A lot of stuff going on at work. Dude, I am so stoked for the good weather. We got a straight up blizzard on Sunday that dumped something like 14 inches of snow on us here in Menominee. And now all of it's melted because it was 60 degrees today. And tomorrow, Saturday, is supposed to be in the 70s. And I am freaking stoked.
Dude, I showed up from my vacation last night, pulled up, and I was like, I thought it snowed here, man.
Yeah. Well, you guys were gone that long. I thought you were just gone for the weekend.
No, we just showed back up last night.
But yeah, no, it was so nice, the weather today. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for it.
No, it was beautiful out today, for sure. CJ, weather is pretty good over there?
No, it's it literally went, one day it was 80 degrees, the next day it was 31, then it went down to the day it was 70. It doesn't know what it wants to do.
CJ is in eastern Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah. It's not awesome. Can we get a moment of silence real quick and maybe a silent prayer real fast?
No.
You must tell us for what, though?
Chuck Norris died today.
Oh,
then yes.
Yes.
For that one, Flags at Half-Mast, scrap the episode. We're going home.
Yeah, just a moment of silence real quick. All right, moment's over. Yeah, it was pretty sad, man. It actually took God to kill that man.
Yeah, I was chatting with my HR rep at work today, who's also a Christian. I was just like, I think that he was like the good Lord had to come down from heaven and ask him if it was time to go home.
One last final Chuck Norris joke. Gotta love it.
No, it is kind of crazy.
I heard that he died from the lava burns because he was in the Earth's core, restarting it for all of us. So God rest his soul. So
appreciate him.
It is crazy though, because it's like I don't know if you guys watched Walker Texas Ranger and stuff as a kid, or saw any of the movies or.
No, but I grew up on the memes and that was enough.
Right.
I grew up on the memes.
I knew of the legend because of the stories that were told.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen a couple of the movies, and I watched Walker as a kid. My grandfather was into it when I would be over there. We'd watch Walker Texas Ranger and Star Trek together, and Yeah, no, it's just weird because like it makes you feel your age. You're like, the last time I remember seeing that guy, he was like 40, like 50
Right,
years
yeah.
old, and then now he's just 86 and dead. Like, what happened?
Man, it's crazy.
Life, I guess. I
Watch
don't know.
watch the entire world just start crippling. Not that it isn't already, but like just takes it to the next level now.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
The
been pretty
catalyst
bad.
for World War III was the death of Chuck Norris. He was the only one keeping it together.
It's definitely been rough. Although window season's starting and my schedule is booking fast, and I'm pretty happy about that. So
Good stuff, man. It's
stuff.
time to make that money.
yeah, yeah. What I like to do is I like to get mad at my boss and call off for the day, and then I send him pictures of $100 bills in my lap.
Ha! That'll teach him. All right, you guys ready to get into our new segment?
Yeah, dude.
All right. All right. Before we get into our main stories tonight, we're going to run through our quick hits segment. This is a rapid roundup of the smaller stories from the last 10 days that are worth your attention, even if we don't have time to go deep on them tonight. Let's go. First up, the White House registered 2 new government domains this week, Alien.gov and Aliens.gov. Both went live on Cloudflare servers Tuesday evening, March 18th. Neither is connected to a website yet. When Defense Scoop asked the White House what the domains were for, spokeswoman Anna Kelly responded with 2 words and an alien emoji. Quote, "Stay tuned." This comes about a month after President Trump announced plans to direct the release of U.S. government records on UAPs and extraterrestrial life. The working theory among disclosure watchers is that these domains will serve as the public-facing clearinghouse for whatever gets declassified. On March 10th, the House Oversight Committee held a joint subcommittee hearing titled Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena Exposing the Truth. Former Pentagon official Louise Elizondo testified under oath that advanced technologies, not manufactured by any known government, are actively monitoring sensitive military and nuclear installations around the world. Retired Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet testified that in 2015, a UAP video distributed to naval officers was deleted from their inboxes the very next day without explanation. No one ever discussed it again. And journalist Michael Shellenberger pushed further on a classified program called Immaculate Constellation, an unacknowledged special access program that the DoD says doesn't exist. According to whistleblower documents entered into the congressional record, it serves as a central repository for UAP intelligence. Thousands of high-resolution images and videos collected from satellites, aircraft, and maritime environments, far clearer than anything the public has ever seen. If you want the full background on Immaculate Constellation, we've covered it before, but the short version is this. If it's real, it's the most significant UAP program in U.S. history, and Congress is being kept in the dark about it. On March 17th, a record-setting heat dome settled over the western United States, described by climate scientist Daniel Swain as the strongest cool season ridge ever recorded in the historical record going back to 1979. And here's where it gets weird. That extreme high pressure drove intense atmospheric gravity waves into the mesosphere, roughly 95 kilometers above the Earth's surface. The result was a rare, brilliant green airglow that filled the night sky over Colorado. Now, green airglow is a real documented atmospheric phenomenon. It's caused by chemical reactions between oxygen atoms high in the atmosphere. But here's the fringe angle. High-pressure events like this are constantly reported alongside increased UAP sightings. Atmospheric distortion at the scale can create both visual and acoustic anomalies that are hard to explain. So if you're in Colorado this week and you saw something weird in the sky, there might be a perfectly good scientific explanation, or there might not be. Canada just released its annual UFO sighting report for 2025. Over 1,000 reported sightings across the country, including blinding lights, hovering orbs, airborne cylinders, and disc-shaped objects. Over 1,000 sightings in 1 year in one country. And that's just the ones people actually reported. All right, this one is going to hit different for a lot of people in this community. On March 12th, a documentary called Capturing Bigfoot premiered at South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. The central claim, the 1967 Patterson-Gimlin film, the foundational piece of Bigfoot evidence for nearly 6 decades, was a hoax. Director Mark Evans was given a reel of 16mm film found locked in a safe after the death of Norm Johnson, a man connected to Patterson and Gimlin through his brother who worked in a Boeing film lab at the time the original footage was made. The reel contains a 40-second clip from 1966, a year before the Patterson-Gimlin film, showing a Bigfoot-like figure in a nearly identical setting. Evans calls it a dress rehearsal. Patterson's son, Clint, states his mother privately admitted the film was staged, and Bob Hieronymus, the man who has claimed for decades he was the person in the costume, confronts Bob Gimlin on camera for the first time. Here's the thing, though. Compelling as it is, the documentary provides zero scientific verification, no film stock authentication, no lab analysis, no independent chain of custody for that 16mm reel. This is one filmmaker's interpretation of unverified footage backed by decades-old family testimony. Disproving the Patterson-Gimlin film and disproving Bigfoot are two completely different conversations, and as far as I'm concerned, this proves nothing yet. But if it ever does disprove the PG film, this will be a devastating blow to the communities of Bigfoot researchers and fans alike. Finally, we covered the Ohio Bigfoot flap in our last episode. 6 sightings in 4 days across Portage County. We told you the activity stopped after March 10th with the German Shepherd incident. Newsflash, it didn't stop. Since we recorded that episode, an 8th high credibility report has come in. This time pushing further southeast into Mahoning County near Lake Milton. A witness reported a 7-foot reddish-brown creature. Different county, different color, which either means the corridor kept moving or there's more than one subject out there. The Bigfoot Society's working theory was already a family group. This new report doesn't make that any less plausible. Don't worry, we'll keep tracking it and we'll keep reporting on it. But for now, Jake, CJ, we've got Alien.gov, a congressional hearing where people are being warned they might end up on a FISA watch list just for saying the name of a classified program, green lights in the sky over Colorado, 1,000 UFO sightings in Canada, and Ohio Bigfoot is apparently still on the move, as well as the documentary about the Patterson-Gimlin film. And that's just the quick hits for tonight. Which one of those is sitting with you the most right now?
I'm surprised you didn't talk about the meteorite that blew out over Ohio.
Yeah.
So it was definitely something that I read quickly about, but it wasn't really a mystery thing. It was a meteorite. It was
I don't
simple
know.
as that.
It could have been a missile. No, I'm just kidding. I like the aliens.gov one. I looked it up, and sure enough, it's not linked to any website. It didn't say that the website didn't exist. It just says that there's no information and all that stuff. So that's actually interesting. Kind of goes right into the same conversation we had with Jeff when he introduced us to the anti-propulsion, anti-jet propulsion, anti-gravity, whatever, engines, things like that. The patent the U.S. government has. It's like, why have a patent for something that can't exist because of physics? Like, it's, why have aliens.gov and alien.gov if there's nothing there? Now, are they going to put out, things about aliens on there, or is it going to be a bunch of, nonsense or lies or whatever? I don't know. But yeah, it's interesting that they made those. So those are the things that are kind of pointing out to me, or jumping out to me, rather.
I think the fact that Jeremy thinks he's not already on several lists is hilarious. And also that the Patterson-Gimlin crew is the original furries. That makes me happy.
That does not make me happy. No, that documentary capturing Bigfoot has caused a huge amount of turmoil in the Bigfoot research community. This story is not going away. I literally brought it up because you cannot turn any corner in social media right now where you come across a Bigfoot page where people are talking about this, and it has the Bigfoot community split right down the middle. People are convinced 100% that Patterson-Gimlin film is faked, and then there's others that have seen the film who are like, this proves nothing. So it's only been shown once at the South by Southwest conference in Texas. Got to wait for it to be seen by more people. But from what I'm hearing, I'm hearing really mixed reviews and really mixed point of views on this. And I have a feeling that this is, I don't know. I have a lot of questions myself. If this was something that, this was the smoking gun, why didn't this come out at some other time? And everyone's excuse for that question right now is, well, the guy died and someone found it in a safe. Well, you know how much money that would have given somebody else, and what is the benefit of holding that from the public? What is this about? It doesn't make sense to me. And
maybe someone was getting blackmailed, and that was what they were holding on to.
Possibly.
We don't know what's going on in their personal lives.
I gotta see the documentary. I mean, they sold one ticket. I'll buy it when it hits Amazon Prime, and I'll give it a watch because I'm curious now. But I'm not putting the Patterson-Gimlin film the rest yet. That's for sure.
Maybe they've been trying to say that it's fake since forever.
Yeah.
They've just been digging for reasons since it came out. Like,
well, we'll see. I'm gonna watch it open-mindedly, right? I mean, if they have some legitimate evidence, then maybe I can change my mind. But I mean, this I think is this was a topic where I was really close to making this an entire briefing because I really wanted to break it down. I didn't because I know we're going to revisit it again. It's going to happen.
Right. Yeah.
As more information comes out, as more people see this, as more opinions get brought to the forefront, as same thing with the Patterson-Gimlin film, people are going to be breaking this down left and right. And in the age of AI, why is this coming out now? So there's a lot of questions to be had, and we'll cover it again. But I wanted to make sure that everyone knows that this documentary is out there because this is going to be a huge dividing factor in the Bigfoot community. Not like there isn't already, a dozen different dividing factors in the Bigfoot community, but this is going to be a major one. I've seen a lot of people who I respect highly as Bigfoot researchers come out and say, "Hey, this proves that the PG film is a hoax," and then others who are just as reliable say this proves absolutely nothing. Both parties have seen this documentary, and they're not in agreement. So I'm very curious to see what it has.
If it does come out that it's a hoax, I'm curious to see where they got those costumes from.
That's the thing that boggles my mind, man. Like Jake and I, when that was the season 1 finale back when we did seasons, episode 15, we covered the Patterson-Gimlin film. And one of our biggest arguments in the whole thing was it came out, a year before or 2 years before the Planet of the Apes. And this was Hollywood's, a very high budget movie in Hollywood, and they had to wear clothes because they couldn't hide the seams.
Costumes of that quality just didn't exist back then.
Yeah. So it's, I'm curious. I'm very, very, very curious. And
especially if it is fake, like, and those are costumes, like going with a female costume, with like fully jiggle fizzed breasts on it, like that would be extremely difficult to make look natural. Like it would have made more sense to go with a male costume because it just would have been easier to make look natural. But they really went the whole 9 yards.
There's so much about that entire video. There's been forensic breakdowns of the foot stride, about how the mid-tarsal break in the foot is clearly seen in the videos. There's been people who went out there in big, bulky ghillie suits trying to move around in the same comfortable stride as Patty did. And if you've ever seen a video of the creek bed where this happened in Bluff Creek, it's pebbles and just a multitude of trip hazards. To do that without looking down at your feet in a very heavy, large ape suit doesn't seem possible. If you've seen the entire film of the Patterson-Gimlin film, You know, a lot of people have only seen like a 3 to 5 second clip of it, but it's much longer than that.
Right,
Patty
yeah.
walked for a while, man, and they got her for a while on film. I mean, there's multiple angles of this thing from, you know, the backside where you can see the mid-tarsal break, the hand swing. I mean, I just don't see it. It didn't look down once, man, and that just screams something is comfortable out in the woods where it is. You know, like humans, we can't do that. We can't do that when most of us can't even do it butt naked. You know.
And let's go back to this thing with the lists. Like, what makes you think, after all the conversations we've had and all the projects we've talked about and the people we associate with, that we're not already on lists?
I know I'm on a list. That's why I use a VPN. I mean, why not?
Is there a VPN running on your phone right now at all time? What has there always been?
Always. Since I was born.
Jake actually does use a VPN. Jake has talked about a possible sponsorship.
Your ISP listens to your conversations too, though, not just through the internet connection, though. So a VPN wouldn't hide you from that.
No, it's really just for searches.
I don't want your service provider.
I don't have a VPN for the thought that the government's watching me, because I know that that's regardless. I mean, the average person driving through a city gets photographed like 200 times. Like if
it's got a microphone, it's attached to the government. That's right. I'm convinced.
The only reason why I use a VPN is because of not wanting to, like, I don't know how the Wi-Fi is monitored at work or in free Wi-Fi in coffee shops or now at the grocery store. I don't want to open up my banking app and then have some issues where someone's like scamming or skimming money out of my account, right? Because I've dealt with fraud in the past. So me and Whitney got Aura to try to cut down on some of these scam phone calls, scam text messages, emails, you know, all these sorts of things. And with it came a VPN, so I just use that. But it does get in the way. Like if you're trying to use your GPS for stuff, it'll get in the way for that. And then also because oftentimes it'll be like LA and I'm in Wisconsin, so it'll mess with like apps and things like that. So sometimes you got to turn it off and everything. But for the most part, I try to keep a VPN running just because I've dealt with fraudulent activity on my account like 3 times and I'm so sick of it. So it's like, you know, now sometimes that can't be helped. If you're going to, you know, run your debit card at a 7-Eleven, there's no telling whether or not you're, you know, running it through a skimming device that's sitting on top of the actual card reader. Because I've seen videos all over YouTube of people finding that stuff out, you know, pulling the thing off, and the cashier acts like it's the first time they've ever seen that. They're like, oh, weird, you know. It's like, so, you know, it can't always be helped, but for the most part, you know, I don't want to.
You're more likely to get somebody skimming you as they walk past you than they are through those devices,
right?
Anyway.
You know, since everyone's got, you know, the chips on their phone for tap to pay or chips on their cards for tap to pay, someone could go by with a skimming device.
Even before those chips, they were able to read the magnetic strips through your pocket with devices and stuff as they walk past you. That's been a thing for a long time.
Yeah. But anyway, so whatever I can do. But yeah, I know, or I know that most people are on lists that don't look up weird stuff.
I also don't think a VPN's saving you from the government at the end of the day. Maybe it'll save you from the FBI, but like not like the government, you know.
It's pronounced government.
No, man, that's why you got to get.
I don't think it's saving you.
What's it? Those phones that Sean Ryan throws around on his podcast,
Patriot Mobile,
you can brick the phone, so you can be like, police are like, "What's the code?" And you're like, "Oh, it's 1123," and they type it in, and it bricks the phone and wipes the memory. Fourth Amendment protections, you know?
They just look up at you like, you motherfucker.
All right, you guys ready to roll?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, get into our first briefing. It is February 28th, 2026. The United States and Israel have just launched joint strikes on Iran. The world is watching, and somewhere in Europe, within hours of the first missiles hitting their targets, a shortwave radio signal comes to life. Twice a day, like clockwork. Early morning and early evening, coordinated universal time. A man's voice, speaking Persian, reading out a series of apparently random numbers, and then a pause, and then one word repeated 3 times. Tavoja, Tavoja, Tavoja. Attention, attention, attention. And then it starts again. This is what's called a number station. And if you've never heard of one, Here's the quick version. Number stations are a Cold War-era espionage tool. Intelligence agencies would broadcast coded messages over shortwave radio frequencies, strings of numbers that could be received by anyone with a shortwave radio, but only decoded by someone in possession of a one-time pad, a physical decoder. No internet, no cellular network, no digital trail. The concept is elegant in its simplicity. Anyone can hear the transmission. Nobody can decode it without the key, and the broadcaster never has to make direct contact with the recipient. The CIA used it. The KGB used them. British intelligence used them. During the Cold War, shortwave bands were full of these signals. Mysterious voices reading numbers in dozens of languages, all hours of the day and night, and then gradually they faded. Modern encryption made them largely obsolete until February 28, 2026. The global community of amateur radio enthusiasts, and there are a lot of them tracking shortwave frequencies around the clock, immediately flagged the signal. They named it V32, a new Farsi language number station, the first detected in years, appearing within hours of the opening salvo of a shooting war. The monitoring community got to work. They triangulated the signal's origin, narrowing it down to somewhere in Central Europe, Northern Italy, Switzerland, West Germany, Eastern France, Belgium, and the Netherlands, in what amassed to be a significant geographic footprint. But it immediately narrowed the list of candidates. A transmission originating in Central Europe, broadcasting in Persian, timed to a U.S.-Israeli military strike on Iran. 5 days later, it got a little bit more interesting. Beginning March 4th, the signal started being jammed. A specific type of interference called a bubble jammer, a pulsing, bubbling noise broadcasts on the same frequency to make the numbers impossible to hear. And here's where it gets strange. That exact same type of bubble jammer has long been associated with Iran's own efforts to block outside broadcasts. Radio Farda, BBC Farsi, Persian language services that Tehran has spent years trying to silence. So either Iran is jamming a signal it created, which makes no sense, or someone else is using Iran's own jamming tools against a transmission that Tehran doesn't want reaching its intended recipients. Then on March 9th, ABC News reported that the U.S. government had sent a federal alert to law enforcement agencies. The alert cited preliminary signals analysis of a transmission of likely Iranian origin, relayed across multiple countries shortly after the death of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. The alert warned it could serve as an operational trigger for sleeper assets positioned outside Iran, people already in place, waiting for instructions, receiving them not through WhatsApp or encrypted apps, but through a shortwave radio signal that no one can trace, no one can intercept, and almost no one is paying attention to. Now, who is actually behind V32? That's where it gets a little complicated. Former U.S. Marine Corps intelligence officer Jonathan Hackett, who held positions at both the Defense Intelligence Agency and the National Security Agency, told The National that it would not make sense for Iran to operate this kind of station. His assessment is that the transmission more likely originates from the U.S. or Israel, designed to activate or protect assets inside Iran during the opening phase of the war. Other analysts point out that the CIA and Mossad both have far more sophisticated and discreet methods of communicating with assets than launching a new shortwave number station in 2026, which raises the possibility that this is a psychological operation, a deliberate visible signal launched at a deliberately visible moment designed to create uncertainty. Is it Iran activating sleeper cells abroad? Is it U.S. or Israel running assets inside Iran? Is it a psyop designed to make Iran or the public believe something is being communicated when nothing really is? Nobody knows. No government has claimed it. No government has denied it. The signal is still broadcasting. The jamming still continues. And somewhere out there, someone has a one-time pad that tells them exactly what those numbers mean. So Jake, CJ, Cold War spycraft in the middle of 2026 shooting war, a signal nobody can decode, being jammed with tools associated with Iranian censorship. Who do you think is behind it?
4chan troll.
Jeez. Okay.
I don't know. I think that I don't think anything is off the table as far as how communication is handled. Like, I mean, Israel drops leaflets to the places they're about to bomb in Iran before they do it, so that civilians can read them and get out of Dodge, right? So I don't think that there's any form of communication that's really off the table when it comes to a wartime type event, because I mean, power could be knocked out, all kinds of stuff, and the only thing that could be around is shortwave radio broadcasts and things. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. If it's being jammed by Iran, or it seems like it's being jammed by Iran, then I would have to assume it's coming from elsewhere to alert, maybe we have, we or Mossad, maybe, the collective we have spies there in the government that need to know when we're about to bomb the crap out of a building full of government officials, right? Type stuff. I think it'd be pretty important to let your people know to get the heck out of there before we drop a freaking bunker buster on a building, right? So, and if it can't be tracked and it can't be, it can't be uncovered as to where the source is coming from, and someone could simply tune a shortwave radio onto the frequency to hear it, then it's less likely that someone's going to be caught with any sort of information tying them to the source and then be executed for it. Because as we've seen from that area, they're pretty prone to just killing people willy-nilly. So, I mean, just happened a couple days ago. So, yeah, I would be more likely to believe that is coming from our side of whether that's actually the United States or one of our allies. And then it would make sense for our side to then say, like, I have no idea what that's from, because we wouldn't want our assets in that country or the surrounding countries to get caught with that and then be exposed, right? Because if say Iran found out that the numbers were coming from the United States and they were a secret code for movements and things like that, and then they caught one of our assets listening in, it might tip them off that this person's a spy and thus, need to be taken out. So that's where I'm kind of sitting with it, but I could be dead wrong because I have no idea. First I'm hearing about it.
I thought this was really important to include in tonight's episode because of the nature of shortwave radios, right? Shortwave radios were used in these messaging systems because of they're not perfect at this, but their ability to withstand EMPs. They can survive an EMP blast. They also can get fried as well, but they basically, where electronics now are solid state electronics, okay, where we use transistors and all kinds of little components, right, that get easily fried by overcurrent. Shortwave radios are made with they're vacuum tubes, okay, so it's a much different form of transmission than what we use today. Anything that we use modern technology wise is going to get fried in the case of an EMP. And for those that know anything about EMPs, this has to deal with nuclear weaponry, atomic weaponry. Okay, I see this as a failsafe, right? This is something that's put in place in case of something happening on the nuclear scale. And the hope that there is a important message that gets put out if a nuclear weapon were to go off in the area. I don't necessarily, when I first read this, that's the first thing that popped into my head. I've read a few things on Cold War tactics, and the whole reason why they started using the shortwave radios was specifically because of the threat of nuclear weaponry, and the hopes that certain messages could survive that kind of attack. That's what this seems like. It doesn't necessarily seem like it's really anybody putting out. I don't buy the sleeper cell thing with this specific signal, it does seem like it's possibly being originated by a U.S. or an Israeli source to get information out to somebody in Iran that they may need to contact in case of a nuclear weapon deployment. Don't get me wrong, I definitely believe that they're sleeper cells. I just don't think that this is what is... It's not how they're communicating. I believe that there's more reliable ways of communicating with sleeper cells in modern times than a shortwave radio.
Well, I mean, as far as that goes, if it was for sleeper agents or, you know, terrorists that were here in the interior of the United States or the interior of Israel, I mean, everything that the supreme leader says is broadcasted worldwide. You know, the new one of the day, essentially, right? As it's going for right now, even in the written form, because apparently the new supreme leader, the son of I can't pronounce his name, Khamenei, is the one who's running it. But he's hidden away in a bunker, apparently, and so he just, you know, has been writing notes and stuff like that. But that's been on every news station. He could literally just be like, blah, 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 everything's okay, I'm alive and well, do it. And then just in the middle of the thing, and then every single news station would run that, and, you know, regardless of where they're at, whether it's Albuquerque, New Mexico, or, you know, New York, or, you know, Spokane, Washington, in the matter of minutes, everyone would be alerted that he just said, do it. And that's the code word. So they wouldn't need some like CB radio broadcast to put any information out, you know, because everything that they're putting out is being broadcasted everywhere because everyone wants to know what's going on with the war and what the new supreme leader is saying, right? And what's our response to it. So it would be absolutely unnecessary to do that.
So for people who don't know, how hard would it be to obtain a shortwave radio as just a regular civilian?
I have one.
Yeah, not hard.
Okay. So
online.
I'm going to go with 4chan troll. Those missiles went off and someone went, now's my chance to confuse everybody. And just babbled some fucking gibberish, created his own psyop, and is now laughing because everybody focused on it and went, oh, look, and now none of these all these governments are standing here. Let's like that Spider-Man meme where they're all pointing at each other.
Yeah.
And it really isn't any of them. And now they're jamming the signal and they're all focusing resources on that. There's some fat guy in his mom's basement.
It's CJ
just laughing his
funny
ass
hat
off. I'm in my fiance's basement, I'll have you know. And
my queen.
but you know, like it really, like, if you think of the nature of these internet trolls, right? How hard would it be for them to go, now's my chance, and then just put out some gibberish just to see if they could stir the pot a little?
I won't discount it. I won't. I think honestly, it's hilarious, but at the same time, I think it's a valid possibility. I do.
I agree.
Yeah.
At least
like, they're already they're blowing this stuff up over here. Let's see if we can get them to blow some more stuff up.
I don't think the only thing is that I don't think we would have seen the reaction from the U.S. government on the sleeper cell side of things if it originated from a 4chan, and I think that it definitely could have.
No, why not? Why not? If it's a shortwave radio, it's not connected to the internet, right? So
correct. So
why not? It comes out. It's just some guy with a radio, right? And he just saw his chance, and he's just putting this shit out there. It doesn't mean anything. And he's babbling in Farsi because it's the evil language right now, right?
Yeah.
So, and he says one word. I can look up one word on Google instantly. Well, I can do it on Apple Translate. That doesn't even need an internet connection, right? So you just look up one word, right? And then rattle off some numbers, and now the U.S. is like,
and
oh
then
my God,
Toyota at the end of it.
Right, like that's what I'm saying. The U.S. immediately is like, oh my God, and then
yes,
Iran's like, and then right, and then Iran's like, oh my God, jam it, and then everyone else is like, nobody knows what this is because it's nothing. It's some guy who wanted to divert resources. He wanted to stir the pot. Now he's laughing.
I won't dismiss it. I think it's a possibility. I don't think it's the best answer, but I think it's definitely a possibility.
I feel it's an Occam's razor answer.
I don't think so. I think in the situation, it's war tactics is what it is. It's a way of keeping a line of communication open in case of a nuclear disaster. And I think to me, that's the Occam's razor answer. It makes more sense for something to be set up proactively instead of reactively.
Well, it's an experiment. Why don't one of you guys get on your shortwave radio, babble some nonsense that sounds like it might be a government code, and then we'll watch to see how many YouTubers start talking about it.
There are so many communities out there, shortwave communities out there, that I don't know the ins and outs of the shortwave community. But I can tell you right now, if we did do that, somebody in that community is going to have a 100% foolproof way of proving that what I'm putting out is bullshit.
If you just rattled off 15 numbers.
The problem is that I don't have a license for it, and you need to have a license for it. So I would be worried about the legality of it.
How will they find you?
They can triangulate, but it's not.
Can they pinpoint?
It's very fast. It's a huge area of concern. It's not where they can pinpoint you perfectly within 3 miles or whatnot. It's a large. I mean, I put that specifically in the script that there was a large footprint where it could have landed.
So if you use a voice transformer, they'll never find you, licensed or not, is what you're saying.
I think there is ways to do it, man, but I'm not a shortwave professional. This may be a question for Google, man. If you want to bring it up, but in the meantime, let's go ahead and get on the briefing too. Maybe, and if you guys find anything during that, we'll revisit. Sound good?
Yeah, no, I bought one with the intention of putting like a CB radio in my truck and stuff. And I've listened in a couple times, but I've never used it because I know that there's some sort of a licensing type thing that you're supposed to do. And it has, in the pamphlet, it has the legality of contacting Cuba, which is interesting. But yeah.
What the?
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Our second story tonight. On the morning of February 27th, 2026, a 68-year-old retired Air Force Major General named William Neal McCaslin walked out of his home in Albuquerque, New Mexico. No phone, no prescription glasses, no wearable devices. He left them all behind. His wife returned home shortly after noon to find him gone. A repairman had last seen him around 10 a.m. Surveillance cameras cover both ends of his street, and yet nothing. No confirmed sightings, no contact with family or friends, no explanation. That was 3 weeks ago, as of tonight, and he has not been found. Now, people go missing. It happens. And on its own, the disappearance of a 68-year-old man with an unspecified medical issue who is an avid hiker and an outdoorsman in the Albuquerque area might be a tragic but straightforward story, except for who William Neal McCaslin is. McCaslin is a retired 2-star Air Force general. During his career, he oversaw classified space weapons programs. He was the commanding general of the Air Force Research Laboratory at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. If you know your UAP history, you just sat up a little straighter. Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio is arguably the most significant location in the entire history of UFO lore in the United States. It is home to the National Air and Space Intelligence Center, the hub for all Air Force intelligence analysis of foreign aerospace systems and emerging threats. And for decades, it has been at the center of persistent, credible claims that recovered extraterrestrial materials from the 1947 Roswell crash were brought there for study. Deathbed confessions, whistleblower testimony, declassified documents, the lore around Wright-Patterson runs deep. And McCaslin didn't just pass through that base. He ran its research laboratory. He was at the center of some of the most advanced and classified aerospace research the Pentagon has ever conducted. Former national security analyst Mark Van Rennenkamp, who worked for the Department of Defense during the Obama administration, described Wright-Patterson as, and I'm going to paraphrase this, where all the super secret research happens. The hub for Air Force intelligence, and the place with the most interesting links to both UAPs and McCaslin himself. Now, here's the timing. McCaslin disappeared on February 27th. One day before the U.S. and Israel launched strikes on Iran, and just days after President Trump announced on Truth Social that he was directing the Pentagon and other federal agencies to release government records related to extraterrestrial life and UAPs. Investigative journalist Ross Coulthart, one of the most modern and common voices in UAP journalism, did not mince words. He called McCaslin's disappearance a grave national security crisis for the United States. His assessment is that McCaslin is a man with some of the most sensitive secrets of the United States government in his head. Someone who has known to be mentally and physically fit. Someone who had recently been seen as a sympathetic to public disclosure on UAPs. Louise Elizondo, the former Pentagon intelligence officer who became one of the most prominent voices in the disclosure movement, also weighed in. He said he hopes McCaslin is found safe, but he didn't rule anything out. And he acknowledged that McCaslin had a, quote, brief association with the UFO community. McCaslin's wife, Susan, has been public about the situation. She confirmed that her husband had been experiencing mental fog before he disappeared, a condition she said was the reason he had stepped down from various groups he was involved with. She was also careful to push back on the more extreme theories. She stated clearly that her husband does not have any special knowledge about ET bodies and the debris from the Roswell crash stored at Wright-Patterson, and that his disappearance is not a reason for anyone to have targeted him. Authorities have not ruled out foul play, but they have nothing pointing to it either. What they do have, clothing and hiking boots recovered at his second home in Pagosa Springs, Colorado, his wallet, revolver, and red backpack still unaccounted for, an infrared helicopter search that was defeated by the unseasonably warm spring. The mountains, according to investigators, were lit up like a candle with heat signatures. Remember, we just covered that specific topic about Colorado and the green sky. They couldn't differentiate between a person and the rocks. The FBI is involved. Over 600 homeowners in the neighborhood have been contacted, and as of tonight, 3 weeks after he walked out of his front door, William Neal McCaslin has not been found. A retired 2-star general, commander of the Air Force Research Laboratory at Wright-Patterson, vanished without a trace, days before the start of a war and days after a presidential directive to release UAP files. You can decide what that means. Jake CJ, a missing general with ties to the most UAP significant military base in American history, disappears at one of the most significant moments in disclosure history. What's your read on this one?
What? Somebody knew something and the government killed him? Shocking.
No
Also, I did look up that thing and about the shortwave radio, and Perplexity agrees with you and very politely called me a moron. So
What's that?
Good. Go fuck yourself, CJ.
Perplexity, it's an AI.
No.
I like to use.
What did they agree on?
That it's probably a government utilizing equipment for anti-nuclear measures and whatever, and pretty much said that I was a moron for thinking it's a standard person trying to stir the pot.
Good. I like perplexity.
Jay, you and your old-timey hat can piss off.
But you and your meth lab in the background can piss off too.
What meth lab?
I see those jugs.
I don't know what you're referring to. I'm running a VPN.
Oh my god, my asthma's acting up so bad.
All right, so what do you guys think about this guy's disappearance?
Yeah, they killed him. Hillary Clinton did it.
That's fucked up.
I guess CJ's next on the list. That sucks.
That's fine.
We're gonna need a new
I've wanted that for way longer than you guys can know.
Just in time for Jeff to come back.
Yeah, that's gonna be the new conspiracy.
They replace
Really?
him.
He's coming back soon?
No, I don't know. I don't know yet.
No.
He is coming back. He's coming back. That's official. He's coming back. I just don't know when.
I just got added to a new list.
Yeah, right. It's hard to say. His wife was saying he had some brain fog and wanted to step down because of it. As someone who has dealt with a family member with dementia, that stuff can hit really fast. I mean, like in a matter of weeks, going from like seemingly normal to I get a call at 3 o'clock in the morning because grandma says she's lost in a parking lot. She's calling me on her cell phone. She has no idea where she's at. I call my mom, who's in the same town. Hey, grandma just said this. She gets up, gets in the car, finds out that grandma's standing in the lobby of her retirement community home, just out of her mind with dementia. You know, it's just like not outside, in the lobby, just has no idea where she's at.
We let one
Stuff
of them
changes.
be president for several years, and he
Yeah,
didn't just
and he was
disappear.
physically fit and well, you know, the whole time. So
Yeah,
yeah, it was
yeah. So
so
like,
it's hard to
but this one
say,
just this one just disappears.
but on the other side of that, I mean, people suck. I spend my time watching a lot of Midwest Safety and Explore with Us and stuff. And people will literally just find someone going for a walk and just decide to hit them with their car or murder them and hide their bodies and all kinds of stuff all the time just because people are horrible. So, which would be not just unfortunate for the simple fact of loss of life, but it would also be unfortunate if someone that had such high knowledge and freaking ties to UAPs and stuff was taken out by some, you know, drunken asshole driving down the road, or a or a wannabe thug just wanting to pop someone just for the heck of it, which would be crazy, but it happens. And then the other side of that is that sometimes people go disappearing because of the information that they know. But I would say in the age of disclosure we're at now, honestly, like, things are happening so fast that you could tie Chuck Norris into this stuff. If you really wanted to, you could say that, you know, because the family hasn't said, you know, by the time this episode comes out, it probably they will have said heart attack, stroke, whatever it was. But I looked it up today, and the family isn't saying what the actual cause of death was, just that there was a medical complication, medical emergency, stuff like that. But someone could literally, you know, be like, well, Chuck Norris had a bunch of movies and he had a bunch of influence right around the time that we started bombing Iran. Like, tell me that's not a conspiracy, right? Like, you could tie anything, any event from any person into what's going on right now and make a full-blown conspiracy, especially with the popularity of the individual or what they do. So there's a lot of things that could have happened. I certainly hope the individual is found. And is alive when they're found. You know, that's for sure the most important thing.
It's possible that there's a serial killer who takes out people who know things that happen in the government. Then
there could be a serial killer who takes out someone who doesn't even know that he has ties to the government, but he just found someone that went out for a jog.
Doubling down on Hillary Clinton right now.
But but also, if you had that high of a clearance level and you had that much going on in your life, why wouldn't you have some form of private security or government security to go about with you?
They don't really assign that to a lot of officials, right? Like, it's primarily like the president, the vice president gets Secret Service and all that. They don't do, and they give the Congress.
Secret Service goes to certain levels of Congress, of course. Yeah,
right. But like for somebody like that, they wouldn't.
No, not a 2-star. 4-star maybe. 4-star may get a little bit of Secret Service love, but a 2-star.
They're not going to give government resources to essentially just like a high-ranking employee. You know, I mean, 2-star general. That's nothing to, like, you know, wink an eye at. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty serious business. But like, it's not as high as would require government-funded security.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. But also, what the heck does the wife think she knows? Like, if he's worth anything as far as a secret or a top secret clearance, you're not supposed to tell anybody anything that's outside the need to know. Your spouse is outside the need to know. So
again,
unless
I don't know about that, man. If you swear me to a secret right now, I'm immediately going to say, yes, I will keep this a secret and run upstairs and tell my wife about it.
Well, that's why you wouldn't ever be given that freaking... I mean, it's not rocket science.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's things that I had to sign in the military that I still can't talk to my wife about, right? NDAs. Not saying that I won't ever, because that the NDAs do have expiration dates on them. I believe the one that actually Jake's wife would probably be very familiar with too. I think has a 20-year expiration date on it. So I'm about 8 years away from being able to scream like a canary.
Well, you know but you know what they say about secrets between two people, right? You can only keep it if one of them's dead.
Or you have self-control. That too.
Well, here's the problem.
The point is that people are people, and everybody is like, if you tell somebody a secret, right? Like if I told you a secret right now, you have somebody you trust with that secret, right? And they have somebody they trust with that secret, and they have somebody they you can't really keep secrets like that without killing the person.
I have secrets that I've never told anybody. From other people,
right.
they confided in me, and I've never opened up and told anybody.
Right. I mean, all of us do. The point is, it's not that it's impossible for somebody to keep a secret.
It's telling people my secrets, CJ?
Every chance I get. Anyway,
throws it up on Reddit the second.
Everybody's reading it. They're like, "Who the fuck is Jeremy from Infinite Rabbit Hole?" Like, they don't. But no, it's like it's you can't like. Sure, there are those of us capable.
Called Sosha Says.
Right. Ask Sosha. It's a search engine of just Jeremy's secrets. Anyway, we can keep secrets. I have secrets that I keep for people, right? But that's not necessarily human nature is kind of what I'm getting at, right? You can't guarantee, like if I told Jeremy a secret right now and he swore to me to keep it till the end of time, he'd take it to the grave with him. I'm not with Jeremy 24/7. I can't guarantee that he in fact kept that secret for me. I can't trust that 100%. I can trust it as far as I can trust it, but at the end of the day, I can't trust it 100% because I'm not with him 24/7. That's kind of the point that I'm trying to make. You don't know. You do not ever truly know that someone will keep a secret for you. And
yeah,
he might have told his wife.
Make is that this lady that he's married to could have just accidentally told the federal government that he tells her what he does for work.
Yeah. Which would be slipping
so
up.
If he is found, they're going to strap him to a chair and be like, so what exactly have you been telling your wife about what you do?
Yeah, if they whack the wife, if the wife disappears too, we know for sure he was black. What I'm saying is, like, if you were going, say Jeremy right now, if I told you a secret, you promised me you were going to keep it, what's the most likely person? If you're not going to keep that secret, who is most likely the person you're going to tell about?
Oh, it's absolutely my wife, but...
thank you.
No, you gotta. There's okay. A 2-star general that has NDAs or the need to know for certain stuff. The amount of trouble that person would get in,
serious prison time.
Not just that. I mean, they would be up for assassination by their own government.
Well,
if they told
a traitor, depending on
some people don't care about that. That's how we end up with Edward Snowden.
But Snowden wasn't a 2-star general.
I understand that, but I'm saying
Snowden was an intelligent grunt.
I 100% get that. But what I'm saying is,
and don't get me wrong, he did an act, right, against an oath. But even the stuff that he came out with may not be the same level as somebody dealing as the top person in one of these programs at Wright-Pat. The stuff that happens or that is said to happen at Wright-Pat is literally could be the deepest, darkest secrets ever kept by the United States military or government.
Right, and it could all it would take is somebody who is on board at the time flipping a switch and going, "Fuck that," and telling his wife.
But then he risks her dying too. You gotta.
Not everybody thinks about that kind of thing, though. Even in
you kidding me, dude? If I knew something that my wife, if she found out, could harm her, I would never tell her.
Right,
ever.
But that's you. What I'm saying is, not everybody think like.
Yeah, but he understands this as a 2-star general. He understands.
He's probably been in the military for 30 years to get to that point.
He knows. He's probably seen a couple people offed, or maybe even pulled the trigger on a couple people being offed. Not physically himself, but at least making the call, right? Or locking them away. He knows what not to do. Now,
Are you trying to say it's impossible that this man divulged things to his wife he wasn't supposed to?
I'm saying it's very, very, very unlikely. Unless...
But not impossible.
Okay, what Jake was saying is that when the mental decline happens in certain medical issues or situations, especially, I'm forgetting it right now. Dementia.
Alzheimer's.
Right? Alzheimer's. Right? That is a very different beast. Now,
Yeah, he could have easily have thought that she was somebody else entirely. I had
not even
I
that.
had relatives go through dementia, and she thought I was my uncle for years.
Not
thought
even
I
that.
was my uncle. You know?
Not even that, man. But he could literally just be like, hey, for some reason, I remember this in my life. This is weird. But then from her point of view, it's like, oh, well, is this the dementia, or is this him really divulging information to me that he doesn't know that he's actually divulging to me? So she has to take it with a grain of salt. If it's medically documented that he is declining mentally, that there is some accidental, they can come in and be like, hey, listen, the UFO things that he was talking about, the little green men, that's not really a thing. Okay. And she'll be like, yeah, no, I get that. He's been loopy. He forgot he had a daughter who's 50 something years old now. But either way, this topic I almost did not cover this at all. The only reason why I did was because this is big news right now. People are talking about this in conspiracy circles. They're blaming this on because UAP is coming out. They're looking at this as a way of sorry, freaking tired, man. Just got back from vacation, so my brain's not working really well.
Controlling the flow of information.
Yeah, but okay, so what's the act of the black lines on official documents?
Redacting.
This literally could be the conspiracy going around is that this is a form of redaction. Okay, where he is somebody that has officially come forward saying that, hey, we should divulge this stuff. This stuff should be public knowledge. And now that they announce, like, hey, there is this executive order saying we need to divulge all this stuff. Once he gets the okay that this stuff is now no longer top secret, it is unclassified, we don't want him to divulge more information than what we're willing to give up. This is literally that it could be them censoring that's the point of view from a lot of the conspiracies going on right now. I personally think this sounds like a very unfortunate case of dementia. The guy's 68 years old.
Could be that he just dropped a package to the New York Times on their doorstep and then decided to cut out of the country and is going to send information to his wife later about where to go.
He could. So maybe in the next couple of days, if something really big drops from the New York Times, that did happen once, right? And that's how we got the whole Louise Elizondo fiasco with the book Imminent and everything, was literally because of the New York Times coming out with an article on the Gimbal Go Fast and Tic Tac videos, right? Maybe we'll keep our ears to the floor and see what we hear. There could be something, but I don't know, man.
I wouldn't discount somebody who you've got all that information locked up, and especially if you're in the early stages or mid stages of dementia, just absolutely spilling the beans to your wife.
He could when you look at it from a point of view of being an accidental disclosure due to cognitive decline, right? That I can understand. If he willingly did it without the cognitive decline aspect, I don't think a 2-star general does that, especially with the danger that he put his wife in.
He talked in his sleep. She's like, no, he screams all night about flying monkeys, never about aliens, though.
He could be a 2-star general, but that doesn't mean that one day he couldn't turn around and decide he doesn't agree with anything we're doing anymore.
And that has happened. That has happened.
That's what I mean. Like, I wouldn't totally discount the fact that he didn't just talk to his wife.
At his level, right? At his level, at his position, you have to take that into consideration. Like, people are talking about Tim Gallaudet. That's the U.S. submarine admiral. I believe he was also a 2-star. I think he was a rear admiral. Who is now talking very heavily about UFOs and USOs being the same thing. comparing apples to apples, but really it's not, because Tim Gallaudet was, yes, he was a fleet admiral, but he wasn't in charge of any information regarding UFOs. He just happened across them personally during his tenure at the position. This 2-star general at Wright-Pat is said to have been in charge of outer space weaponry, is the program that they called it. I mean, he would be privy to much more important and critical information than Gallaudet about UFOs or USOs. It's not comparison.
So he is more likely to encounter information more than anybody else. He's more likely to encounter information that he can look at and go, this is fucked. I need to tell someone.
Yes, he can, but he would be probably putting not just himself. I mean, if he has kids and grandkids, man, you're putting all those people into jeopardy.
100%. But like I said before, not everybody cares about that. Some people who have seen some shit don't care about that sort of thing. And it's fucked up, but like if they're
Don't think
if they're
about it until it's too late.
Right. Like just out of impulsivity. I mean, you don't really get to be a 2-star general by being impulsive, but like he may not be thinking about his emotions of when he made the decision to talk. You know what I'm saying? Like I just don't think that it's completely outlandish that the man told his wife secrets he wasn't supposed to tell her.
I won't 100% disagree with you. I'm still going to say that it's unlikely that was the scenario, because she would also be taken care of too if that was the case.
Unless they can make him look like he was crazy and had dementia, right? Like if he has dementia, he disappeared. He must have just wandered off. Oh, those things he told you, that didn't happen. He was out of his mind.
Yeah, but if anything comes out of her, like, oh yeah, when he was crazy and saying these weird things, he said something about the flying monkeys and stuff, and you know, the government's like, we said aliens were okay, but not flying monkeys, and here she is telling everybody about this. Nobody believes her, but she's still saying it, right?
Yeah, but then in that aspect, killing her just guarantees that she was telling the truth.
Well, now it does. Now that she's out in the open, and a public figure, yeah.
There are those dudes, those whistleblowers. I forget who it was. I forget. I was listening to a podcast. I can't remember which one it was, but they were talking about there was this whistleblower who was talking about secrets he wasn't supposed to talk about. They were going to hide his face, and he was like, "No, you have to show my face. Like I'm the only one that knows about this.
I need that protection. Yeah,
they'll kill me. Everyone needs to see my face. You know what I mean? So like if they took her out, they're just guaranteeing that the information she had was good. Like they would make believers out of people by killing.
But they still do that. They still do that. Look at all the people that came up with some form of 0-point energy or the water engine, right? I mean, these people went public, right? And they still got off. They still disappeared. They still got cleaned.
Yeah. Well, you're not wrong. I mean, it does happen, but like in a case like this, it's a very specific individual with very specific information, and it's easier to claim that he had dementia and wandered off and nothing that came out of his mouth was true. It was the ramblings of a crazy person, in mental decline, than it is to be like to try to cover up killing him and his wife.
Yeah. The last thing I'll say about this is that the only thing that he's been on record of saying is that there are things that the government should know about. He has not gone on record. I couldn't find anything about him saying crazy shit about flying monkeys, about actual extraterrestrial beings, or what specifically the public should be in knowledge about. Just that there are things, and this happened years ago. This wasn't, he wasn't 68 at the time. He was, 62, 63, but he hasn't. There is no reportings of him coming out with any real outlandish information, right? Nothing about reverse engineering, about having things, non-human intelligent craft, or even non-human intelligent biologics.
So this man was already of the mindset that there's information he thought that we should know about.
Yes.
In his right mind, did not tell us because of his agreements with the government.
Correct.
His mental health this man told his wife. He started the early stages of dementia. This man told his wife.
But she didn't even come out and say anything like that, man.
Well, maybe she's smart.
I hope she is.
Maybe she's the shit he told me is I'm
if
keeping
that's
that
the
to
case.
myself.
if that's the case, I hope she keeps her mouth shut for her own safety. And I'm not, I don't wish bad ill on anybody, right? Let it come out in official ways, or let whistleblowers be whistleblowers. But if she's just a innocent, wife of somebody who used to be in a very high position, I hope that she just leaves it alone. And I don't wish anything to happen to her.
All right, I'll throw this out there. I was just reading an article on it. So I know you put it out there, but this is just a refresher. He left without any of his phone, his wallet, his gun, anything like that. So either this is a medical emergency where he wandered out of his home because of some sort of dementia or Alzheimer's or whatever it is, early onset, or he was abducted and murdered. Those are my two stances I'm going to take.
I think it's fair. I think that's a fair assessment. Either something
I don't go
drastically
anywhere
happened
without
to
my
him,
phone, right? Because I don't know, there's freaking bears outside. I don't go anywhere without my phone, right? Even if I'm going to go on a walk.
You don't now, but at 65, with dementia, you may.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Is that
especially somebody who grew up, not needing that. A lot of people with dementia de-age cognitively 20, 30 years.
No, I get it, but I'm saying there would have to be a rare circumstance for me to leave without my phone. And my job isn't even that important. If I had a super important job where I could receive a phone call at any point, at least have my work phone on me, for something work related. But those would be the two things, is that he was taken and killed, or he had a early onset dementia event and just walked out the door. Both things in the history of people are not out of the ordinary enough to say that would never happen. So,
yeah. I even saw an article too where, and I've specifically put it in the script about the cameras being at both ends of the street, and another person came out saying, with somebody with dementia, they could be somewhere hidden on their own property. They could be under the sagebrush in their front yard, and we won't know until the possums get to it. And it's morbid, but it's true.
When I first joined the Navy, we had that thing. Maybe it was 2012, 2011 when it happened, but it was where they were kicking out all the people, trying to downsize the Navy, kicking out all the people that basically ever had a bad PT score or had ever gotten too many counseling chits or gone to MAST or anything like that. And there was a first class in my command. It was my first command. I didn't know who he was. I'd seen him in passing in the hallway, but he found out that at 16 years that they were just going to let him go. They were not going to let him re-enlist. They were kicking him out. And he's, as a E6, he's in the retirement zone. So he, it was around the Christmas time frame. He went home, went into his attic, and did the thing. And his wife, after several days, reported a missing person. Police came and interviewed her, got pictures, put his face up all over the place. She didn't find him for 2 weeks because he was upstairs or up frozen in the attic in Virginia. And found him when she went to go start putting Christmas decorations away. And that's how we all found out. So, yes, he could literally be on his own property and they wouldn't know because they haven't checked the crawl space. They haven't checked the attic. They haven't checked the basement or whatever, right? So, yes, that is a possibility, because just because you report a missing person doesn't mean the police are going to tear your house apart looking for him, right? They're going to put it on notice. They're going to start searching outside. Okay, he was an avid hiker. He liked walks. Let's start searching in the most likely areas. They wouldn't start searching in things like the crawl space or the attic or things like that. So yes, it is possible for someone to be reported missing and they are unfortunately on their own property and they're not found until they're found, right? So yes, what you're saying is valid, could happen. Although it's probably more likely that he wandered off, but yeah. So,
all right, you guys ready for the deep dive?
I know that was pretty dark, but that's what that reminded me of.
That was a really good. It was a really good point, man.
Yep. All right, you guys ready for the deep dive? Move on to something different. All right. TJ, good to go?
Yeah.
All right, let's go deep. I want to start with a question, and I want you to actually sit with it before we move on. How do you know what's real? Not philosophically, not as an abstract thought experiment. Right now, today, in March of 2026, in the middle of an active shooting war between the United States, Israel, and Iran, how do you know that what you are seeing on your phone, on your television, in your social media feed, how do you know any of it is real? Because that question is no longer hypothetical. It is the defining information crisis of this moment. And the story of Benjamin Netanyahu's last 2 weeks is the clearest illustration of exactly how broken our ability to verify reality has become. Let's start at the beginning. February 28th, 2026, the United States and Israel launched joint strikes on Iran. Supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is killed. The Middle East is on fire. And Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, the man who has been the face of this conflict, goes quiet. He doesn't disappear entirely, but his public appearances become sparse. Pre-announced appearances stop, and into that silence, Iranian state media steps in. Iranian outlets begin pushing reports that Netanyahu is dead, killed in a retaliatory strike, gone, and they have pictures to prove it. Images of Netanyahu bloodied and pulled from rubble, circulating across X, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, millions of views within hours. The images were fake. AI-generated fabrications identified as synthetic by multiple independent investigators, but they had already spread, and the damage, the seed of doubt, had already been planted. Then, March 12th, Netanyahu gives his first formal press conference since the war began. A recorded video address. Standard wartime communication. And almost immediately, something strange happens. Social media users start pausing the video, frame by frame, and they find something. On Netanyahu's right hand, in one particular frame, what appears to be a sixth finger. Now, if you know anything about generative AI, you know that hands are one of its most persistent weaknesses. AI image and video generators have notoriously struggled to render human hands correctly. Extra fingers, fused fingers, missing fingers. It is one of the most reliable tells that something has been artificially generated. And here was the Prime Minister of Israel in an official government press conference video appearing to have 6 fingers. The post went viral. Millions of impressions. The theory spread. Netanyahu is dead. The Israeli government is using AI-generated videos to hide it, to keep up morale, to deceive the world. And then it got weirder. People turned to Grok, the AI chatbot built into X, Elon Musk's platform, to help them verify the footage. And Grok made it worse. In some instances, Grok labeled the video a deepfake, pointing to, and I'm quoting here, signs like static coffee levels, unnatural lip sync, and casual talk of ops. In other instances, Grok labeled the same video authentic, contradictory answers from the same AI tool to the same question about the same video. Netanyahu's team responded. On March 15th, they posted a casual video of the Prime Minister at a coffee shop called the Satif in the Jerusalem Hills. Netanyahu ordered coffee, chatting with baristas, joking about the death rumors. The caption read, quote, "They say I'm what?" And at the end of the clip, he looks directly at the camera and says, "I'm dying for coffee." And then he holds up both hands, fingers outstretched. Count them. 5, 5. It should have been over, but it wasn't. Users immediately began picking apart the coffee shop video for signs of AI manipulation. The coffee level in his cup appeared static, not moving naturally as he drank. His lips seemed slightly off in certain frames, and in a follow-up video posted the next day, his wedding ring appeared to briefly vanish from his hand, mid-gesture, and then reappear. Iran's state media outlet Tasnim news agency, run by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, published an article titled, quote, "New video of Netanyahu proves fake." They listed every alleged anomaly. They included screenshots from AI detection tools, flagging the video as digitally generated. And here's where the story gets philosophically important for our purposes, because here is what the verification experts actually said. Tal Hagin, a professional verification specialist, told Euronews that AI detection software cannot be trusted in situations like this. These tools, he explained, search for statistical discrepancies. They flag things that are not normal. But normal is a probabilistic standard. if a person holds their hand in an unusual position, if the lighting creates an odd shadow, if compression artifacts from video encoding creates visual noise, the detector can flag it as AI, even when it is completely authentic. Hagen put it plainly, if Netanyahu's coffee shop video was actually AI generated, it would be the most advanced AI model that has ever existed, the kind of system that no one on Earth currently has access to. And you cannot simply claim on the internet that Netanyahu's team has access to a secret AI model without evidence. I beg to differ, by the way. Snopes ran the press conference video through a professional deepfake detection tool. The result? 0.1% likelihood that it was AI generated. 0.1%. Netanyahu is alive, apparently. The videos apparently are real. This has been apparently confirmed by multiple independent verification organizations: Snopes, Times of Israel, Euronews, France 24, AFP. But here's the thing, and this is what I really want you to think about. It doesn't matter. Not because the truth doesn't matter, it does, but because we have now entered a moment in history where the existence of deepfake technology, regardless of whether it is actually being used, is enough to make authentic content unverifiable to a significant portion of the population. The mere possibility of a deepfake is sufficient to create permanent, unresolvable doubt. And both sides of this war understand that. The disinformation research company Kyabra documented a coordinated pro-Iranian campaign that deployed tens of thousands of fake social media accounts, generating over 145 million views in the first 2 weeks of the war, almost entirely on TikTok. AI-generated videos of missile strikes flattening Tel Aviv. AI-generated images of Netanyahu dead in rubble. AI-generated footage of American troops being captured by Iranian forces. All fake, all viral. But it doesn't stop there, because this isn't just Iran's problem. An Israeli pro-Netanyahu news channel aired footage it claimed showed crowds in Tehran chanting support for the prime minister, affectionately calling him Bibi Jun, a Persian term of endearment. The Israeli fact-checking organization Fake Reporter investigated. The chant was AI-generated, a pro-Netanyahu outlet broadcasting AI-fabricated pro-Netanyahu content to an Israeli audience during a war. Both sides simultaneously using AI to manufacture reality, and sitting in the middle of all of it is a tool most people trust by default. The AI chatbot built into the most widely used social media platform on Earth, Grok, which told users a real video was fake and told users that fake video was real, sometimes in the same conversation, with equal confidence both times. Here's the number that I think puts all of this in context. In 2023, just 3 years ago, estimated 500,000 deepfakes were shared online in a single year. By 2025, that number reached 8 million, a 1,500% increase in 2 years. And the Iran war of 2026 is the moment all of that converged. We are not heading toward an information crisis. We are inside one. And here's the question that I don't think anyone has a good answer to yet. If a world leader with full access to government communications, infrastructure, professional video production teams, and the entire apparatus of a modern nation state cannot convincingly prove to a global audience that he is alive using authentic, quote-unquote authentic, video footage because AI detection tools keep flagging it as fake, what does that mean for the rest of us? What does it mean for a witness who films a UAP on their phone and uploads it to YouTube? What does it mean for a cryptid researcher who captures something on a trail cam in the woods of Northeast Ohio? What does it mean for a whistleblower who leaks authentic classified footage of something the government doesn't want you to see? If everything can be called a deepfake, if AI detection tools are unreliable, if the mere existence of the technology creates permanent doubt, then we have a problem that goes way beyond Benjamin Netanyahu's coffee order. Because the truth is still out there, it just got a lot harder to prove. Jake, CJ, simple question with what I'm only guessing is going to be a long answer from the both of you. What do you make of the Netanyahu deepfakes?
CJ, you go first, so I can interrupt you.
It's really not going to be all that long for me. I think it's all of it's a psyop on a psyop on a psyop. I don't know if he's alive or not, and I don't really care. I'm not pro-Israel in any sense of the imagination. Welcome to the next list we're on. And yeah, whatever. I don't care. It's Netanyahu. Nobody likes him. His own people don't like him. Like, whatever. You know what I mean? It's all psyop shit. Something to distract us with. Whether he's alive or he's not is irrelevant. They'll have the next leader up
But what about
regardless.
the concept of AI videos? Have you guys seen these videos?
I haven't seen those specific videos, but I make plenty of AI videos. I love playing with AI. It's like one of my favorite toys.
I've seen like 3 of them now, and they're all officially produced and distributed by the Israeli government, right? And there is one where it looks like he's holding like these railings next to the podium, or he's holding the podium, and one of his fingers just disappears. And then it reappears. And then there's one where he has 2 ear holes in one ear. And then the one with the 6th finger, I think that's, I use that one because a lot of people are using that as their specific evidence for it being AI. But honestly, it could be just a weird shadow casted by his pinky. So I'm not using that one. But the other 2, where he's got 2 ear holes in one ear, and then the pinky just kind of disappearing and reappearing. Really weird stuff.
I gotta say, so I play with Sora, and I play with what is it called? Hold on.
While you're looking that up,
it's called Sora, and I play with Suno, and then I also there's an online app called Studio 11. I think Studio 11.
I know of Studio 11. That's where you get the voices.
Yeah, but so with Studio 11, if I have 2 minutes of your voice, Jeremy, I can deepfake anything I want and make it sound like you.
Mm-hmm.
And with like Suno's the music one. Sora, I can take a photograph of you and turn it into an animation. Those are about the mistakes that it'll make. They're not usually that dramatic or that frequent. It's pretty good, but like if it's gonna make a mistake, that's the type of mistake it makes. Yeah.
I seen a video. Somebody on X posted a video from Sora about the Carl Hignan incident, the abduction incident in Wyoming, and it was so bad. It was terrible.
Oh, I mean, it's a fun thing. I make conspiracy cat videos on there. It's a tuxedo cat who is trying to tell the dogs in the house about Big Human.
Oh.
And how like they domesticated dogs so they have somebody to blame for their farts and stuff. Like Sora's a lot of fun to play with. But yeah, like it'll make mistakes just like that all the time.
Jake, what you got, buddy?
Does this mean that people are finally going to get on board with us about all of the weird videos that NASA puts out about the International Space Station?
No, because NASA is real.
Yeah, they're only going to worry about this. I don't know what people want. Either they have Vladimir Zelensky touring the world like some freaking movie star instead of worrying about the freaking invasion that's going on in his country, or you have a military leader or a country's leader who seems to be more focused on what's going on with attacking another country than throwing out, videos and stuff and making TikToks and, Instagram reels and stuff like that. So it's like, so if they do, it's all fake. And if they don't, it's all fake. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. And yeah, I mean, shoot, how many times do we have to see a politician go up where they blink and their eyes turn into freaking lizard eyes? And everyone says that we're crazy for pointing it out, the frame by frame. Oh, that's just the lighting, and oh, that's just, the digital imprint, and that's just the compression, and that's just this, that, and the other. And then they see this like a weird shadow in a hand, and they're like, oh, it's the 6th finger, it's a deep fake. It's just like, so level with us weirdos, all right? Like, there could be reptilians in government, and the International Space Station could be fake because they dropped this object and went straight down. They dropped this other object and it stayed suspended in the same video clip. It's like, was the mass different for a second? Like that just constantly, defied the laws of gravity, But it's just like, they have to come on board with us somewhere, right? But I'm not, it's very difficult to tell. I've seen a lot of AI generated slop coming out of what they say is Iran. It could just be some, D-bag in their basement doing
Iran's
it. Or
really fucking bad at it.
But like pictures of B-2 bombers and they have, they have
fucking huge.
yeah, right. And it looks like it's the size of like an F-18, and they got a bunch of Iranian fighters, all with the exact same expression on their faces. And they're holding an AK-47. Some of them are even holding the grips. Their just hand is like in a fist in front of it, and it's back behind their hand. And it's like, and you see a picture of a real B-2 bomber, and the people next to it are like this big, and the bomber is like that, right? And
that's the one that I saw, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah, you guys think you're going to convince us with this garbage, right? So it's like, it's just now whether that's actually coming from Iran or it's coming from just somebody that's just blasting that crap into the media because you put so many hashtags and someone's just going to believe that it's from there. I don't know. Are these videos real or are they deep fakes? I don't know. And I don't even know how you'd prove that, because at this point, there would be so many people that believed it was a deep fake. It wouldn't matter if the video was real or not. Someone's going to call it fake. I mean, most of Facebook and YouTube now is just AI slop, where it's like, and you just see, oh my gosh, the boomers are just convinced that all this crap is real, and it's absolutely insane. It's just like, how did the shark get in the puddle? And it's like, shut up. Like, stop it. To get off social media, you don't need to be here, right? It's just like, but
could you imagine it? Because I know what video you're talking about. I don't mean to cut you off, but could you imagine somebody seeing that and being convinced that there was a shark in the puddle that took out a cat, and now they're afraid to walk outside when it's raining?
I mean, it's just like absolutely insane. There's like sea monsters and stuff coming up on the beach, and they're like, when did this get discovered? I always knew that because it says so in the Bible. And it's like, you're not helping anything. It's like, please stop. Just get off social media. But I appreciate your faith, but that's not the video for it. It's just like, or fake angels and stuff. There's like all this stuff that's just like, because of my algorithm, I get blasted with it. I'm just like, all right, well, all this is fake. But who's to say that something, like you said, someone's going to film in a UAP, and it's because it's so abnormal, like we talked about in the last episode or the episode before. It's so abnormal that your brain's immediately going to be like, that's fake. And it's real as crap. Like what we always talk about, the alien spaceship landing on the White House lawn. Like, at what point are we going to see that and just be like, wow, nice deep fake, type stuff. And it's a real event that's actually happening, right? Nice, it's going to have to be directly in front of our faces, and no one's going to believe anything else, right? But it's like, yeah, it's crazy. The amount of information warfare and psyops and stuff that are going on. I mean, we all knew this was going to happen, but now I don't even know how you would prove that the video is real, because I mean, if AI tools in themselves are compromised, then we're just screwed, I guess. Like, because Netanyahu could come out with that, the newspaper of that day with Donald Trump in the same thing. Donald Trump saying, yeah, I'm real, here I am, being recorded by an actual news crew, blasted all over, MSNBC, ABC, CNN, Fox News, all that sort of stuff. And people are still going to think it's a deep fake. And it might be, so it's like, who knows, I care, but at the same time, I care very little about if Netanyahu is alive. Are bombs still dropping in Iran? Are gas prices still high? I mean, it's just like, what does his being alive or dead matter? Because if their government is worth anything at all, then they would be modeled after our government, which, yeah, all right, if Trump gets killed, it would be horrible. It'd be horrible for any country to lose their primary, I guess, director, right? Their government leader, their president, prime minister, whatever. But they would have a contingency where there is a second in command that immediately steps up and takes control. And it's not someone who has no idea what the F is going on. They're completely on board with what the attack plan is, what's the next steps, what was the direction and the vision of the primary. And now as the secondary, they're put in that position and everything continues as normal. They're not just some guy off the street that were like, all right, you're the president now, what's next, right? So if they're worth anything, even if he was killed, I would imagine things would continue as they were already going. So it wouldn't, in the great, scheme of things, the grand scheme of things, it wouldn't actually matter as far as like, is Iran going to continue to be attacked? I don't know. When did Netanyahu decide that they were going to stop bombing them? That would probably continue to be the plan.
That's pretty much exactly what I was saying in longer form. I mean, it's easier to distract people now. You think back like the Obama era when we were trading 5 high level, Taliban from Guantanamo for like one soldier or whatever, and Obama's like, well, we can't have people know when we're doing this. Ebola. Right.
The murder hornets. Oh no.
Yeah, right. Now all we have to do is put out a couple of videos where like a digital frame recorded on top of another digital frame and created a sort of digital burn-in causing a 6 finger, and now we have a distraction for people to look at. Like Jake said, who cares if the guy's actually dead? If he did die, someone's going to take over, and it's going to be, business as usual.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's irrelevant. It's a psyop on a psyop on a psyop on a psyop. It's just something to distract you and get your attention, and have 3 fucking guys on a fucking podcast talking about it, which distracts several thousand other people onto the same topic, and they're not looking at the stuff that actually matters. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's that sort of thing. Like, there's no point in arguing over whether or not that those videos are real and he's alive or not. Like, it's more important to look at what's actually going on.
100% agree. I included this today as kind of like an ongoing thing with AI, because it's just becoming an increasingly frustrating thing for me. I've been told numerous times that even the video on this podcast is AI generated.
Wait, like the 3 of us?
People are a bunch of silly gooses.
Well, I haven't been told that since you've been back, CJ. But yeah, I mean, this right here, this conversation that we're having right now, that's AI generated. There's been so many aspects of this that have been blamed as being AI generated. It's so frustrating because
it's not creative enough to generate the conversations we have.
But what really bothers me, man, is, and beyond the whole, infinite rabbit hole conversational piece on the podcast, is how much this really just hurts the research side of these things. It kills it. It really does. Like, I meant that in the script about, Bigfoot researchers and UFO researchers and stuff. And it literally kills the ability for any of this to move forward. It just shoots it dead. And there's really not, there's no point in a lot of this now.
So it's working as intended. Okay.
Probably. I mean, it probably is working as intended, in that case. And, beyond UFOs, aliens, and Bigfoot, right? But on other stupid things like the war, right? It's the big point of this deep dive was it's so frustrating that we can't tell what's real anymore. And I specifically put in there about how people are coming out saying, oh, that if it was AI, it would be too good. If you believe that there's AI out there that's not better than what's available to the general public, you need to go fuck yourself.
Dang.
No,
you heard it here first, folks.
They definitely have models that we're not even allowed to touch. Did you hear what ChatGPT is trying to do?
What is it now?
We're gonna start. I have a feeling some of those models are gonna become available. So ChatGPT originally started as a non-profit, and then they moved to a profit model, and now what they want to do is move into your build for the time you use on ChatGPT like a utility.
Oh. And what's crazy is people will probably use it.
100%. Especially if they're billing us like it's a utility, they'll probably drop not the top model, but they'll start dropping those models that are a little more advanced.
Well, they're already doing that with Grok, aren't they? It's like the free version, the $30 a month version, and like the $300 a month version.
Yeah, well, what they're saying is like it'll work like your electric bill. Like it's not a monthly subscription. It's based off of like the data you consume.
Well, they can piss off. I don't use ChatGPT ever.
You've used 7 gigabytes of AI generated material. Your bill is $6,742.73.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Damn, I know a lot of people that'd be fucked. Too many.
I would be
What you
fucked. I
said-
used AI for a lot. I use AI for a lot of shit. Like if I'm like trying to cross reference something or whatever. Like I just bought a new micro gecko from a local reptile store, and I didn't trust the species the guy told me it was, and it turns out that the guy had absolutely no idea what he had. And I crossed it through Perplexity, Gemini, and ChatGPT to successfully identify it. To help me identify it, anyways. So I mean, I use it for a lot. Or if I need a quick reference, like I'm making dinner or whatever, and I have X number of ingredients, and I'm using these spices, and I kind of like it tastes like it's missing something. I'll run through AI like what I put into it and tell it I think like it's missing something, and it'll hit me with suggestions.
Haven't thought about that.
Do you know how scary this whole AI thing is, man? How much people are relying on this? The argument from our parents, growing up is, oh, playing your Sega Genesis and your PlayStation 2. What are you going to do if all the lights turn off and you have no electricity? And it's like, dude, could you imagine people who survive off of AI generated information?
Even worse, could you imagine the TikTok brain people if the freaking internet
gosh.
crashed? They'd jump off the freaking roof.
I mean that's not funny, but at the same time, yeah, it's kind of funny.
I got coworkers that can't even sit down and watch full movies because they're so used to 10-second clips. It's crazy to me. They're like you, Jeremy. They get 0 movie references, but it's not because they're busy or they just don't have the time. It's because they're so sucked into 10-second, like instant gratification videos that sitting down to watch a movie with an actual plot is the most boring thing ever, and they just can't cope with it without also scrolling while they do it, and they just don't, retain any information. It's crazy to me.
It's the same thing on a different scale from people who read books to people who watch movies. I mean, like I could sit there and watch a movie. I fall asleep to it. It's not that, I need that quick stimulant that, a TikTok video will give you. I mean, I read books. I spend a week reading a book,
Slow reader, huh? Yeah.
Netflix
a little bit sometimes.
Netflix did a statistic where it actually comes out that within the first 5 minutes of a show or movie, people have already picked up their phone and started scrolling.
I don't know.
How would they know that?
I honestly don't know.
It's in the disclaimer information that they can watch you through.
They're using their TV as a mirror.
They're using your Wi-Fi system to be able to tell.
But on average, like even in movie theaters and stuff, it's about 5 minutes into a movie.
I don't doubt it.
People start scrolling.
I believe that. Very.
Yeah, it's
very much
their new. Like if you had an idea for a show and you were pitching it to Netflix, that was one of the things.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm tired. My brain just like
TikTok brain. Yep, that's what he's got.
Actually,
lost track of the conversation because of TikTok brain.
No, I don't have TikTok brain. Actually, I was super duper addicted to TikTok for like 6 months, and then the day where it was like supposed to be banned, right? I turned it on, and it said it was banned, and I uninstalled the app. And I guess like 2 hours later, it was back up or whatever. But I never reinstalled it, and I honestly don't miss it.
We got the Infinite Rabbit Hole TikTok page got shut down because we were talking truths.
I don't doubt it, but no, I can't even remember what I was talking about. It doesn't matter anymore. I'm tired. It's been a week.
Anyways, you guys got anything else before I close this out? All right, that's it for tonight's episode. We ran through our quick hits, the White House quietly registered Alien.gov and Aliens.gov, the March 10th congressional hearing where witnesses testified under oath about a classified UAP program called Immaculate Constellation, a rare green air glow lighting up the skies over Colorado during a record-setting heat dome, Canada logging over 1,000 UFO sightings in 2025, the Patterson-Gimlin film is potentially a fake, and a quick update on the Ohio Bigfoot flap, which did not stop after we recorded last week, expanded into a second county. In our briefings, we covered the Persian number station, a Cold War-era shortwave spy signal that appeared within hours of U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iran, broadcasting coded messages twice daily in Farsi, getting jammed by tools associated with Iranian censorship, while no government claims responsibility for either, and we covered the disappearance of retired Air Force Major General William Neal McCaslin, the man who once commanded the research laboratory at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, who walked out of his Albuquerque home 3 weeks ago and has not been found. As the FBI continues its search, and investigative journalist Ross Colhart calls it a grave national security crisis. Then we went deep on the AI deepfake war unfolding in real time alongside the military conflict between the U.S., Israel, and Iran, and what it means when authentic video footage can no longer be reliably distinguished from a fabrication, even by the tools we built to tell the difference. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, please subscribe to Infinite Rabbit Hole wherever you get your podcasts, leaving us a rating and review. It genuinely helps more people find the show. You can find us on InfiniteRabbitHole.com, Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube. And if you've been watching on YouTube tonight, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. As of right now, we only need 80 more subscribers to hit our 1,000 mark. One more time. I'll be live at CatCon on Saturday, May 9th in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin at the Radisson Hotel and Conference Center. Use code RABBITHOLE at checkout for 10% off of your tickets. Link is in our recent social media posts. We're back next Tuesday with another deep dive into the unexplained. Until then, keep your eyes open, keep asking questions, and remember, the truth is out there. You just have to know where to look. I'm Jeremy Sosha, and we'll see you in the next fork in the path of the Infinite Rabbit Hole.
Bye.
Bye-bye.